Better to get your VIPs.
Yeah, amekuja. Angalia, amekuja.
No matter what anybody says out there, you are more than enough.
Hey Ovi fam, welcome to episode 17. I am your host Abigail Diana. Thank you so much for being consistent, just like me, and following through with all the episodes as we gear up to finishing all the reviews for events that I attended in 2024. I don't take it for granted. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the previous episodes. And let's dive into the events that I attended in October 2024. The first event that I attended was Maali live at Geco. He was playing with the unit band on 3rd October. Honestly, I went to this event to blow off steam. And when that happens, my brain shuts down because I wasn't okay. But Maali did put up a good show, as always, and I enjoyed every bit of it. But I won't go into the particulars because, well, I didn't go there to analyze. On 4th October, I attended the Jam where Muthaka, Njeri, and David O were performing. Let me tell you, the sound was so problematic. I don't even want to talk about this show, like in depth. A lot of things were just going wrong. I realized they also changed the position of the stage as compared to the last time I attended the Jam. But I don't know if that would have affected anything. We decided to just jam, literally, regardless of how terrible everything sounded. Muthaka and the Vibe Curators, which is the band that Muthaka plays with, tried so hard to make things work with what they had. Vibe Curators ni Marcos Musalanu on keys, Josh Anesu on bass guitar, and Filippo Dupa on drums. The Jam should really try and work on that. But we appreciate the Jam as a learning avenue because they usually have these panels during the day before the performances in the evening. And most of the time, I'm not able to make it to the panel. I think I've made it to the panel like twice or thrice. On 6th October, I was hosting Lafriq at R&B Uncovered, which is a show that I hosted last year. Honestly, we had missed Lafriq na tuliwahoji mbona wamepotea sana. Wakasema mmoja wao will be leaving the country soon, so we wish them all the best. They performed released tracks and a lot of unreleased music. We hope they make it work na tuendelee kuenjoy mziki yao, like they get to find a way to still release music regardless of, not being together physically. On 10th October, Karun was performing at Geco Cafe. I missed Blankets and Karun was performing. Naili Numa. This performance was a must for me. In 2024, she really did open up herself to performing more often, and we don't take that for granted. I truly appreciate that. Karun is probably the artist I've attended the most shows this year. I'll sit down and compute, but it has to be her or Mutoriah. I'm not too sure. Anyway, Karun's band was Jay Masharia on drums, Tugimlamba on lead guitar, Olango on bass guitar, and Lucas Mush on keys. The background vocalists were Jojo and Matt Ngesa. The background vocalists started out jamming with the band. Let me tell you, Karun looked so fabulous when she came onto stage. Her outfit, her hairdo, her makeup, just everything. Everything. So when she started, she sang alone, some of our old favorites of hers. Venue ilikuwa imejaa ajab, and we were singing word for word to her songs, of course. After she sang along for a while, the background vocalist joined her once again during Here With Me. I've been to so many Karun shows, and I love how each of them is a different vibe, set, and experience. And one thing that I realized about her, she has a massive catalog. I also noticed this when I was trying to playlist her for Blankets. Hey, catalog nayo ako nayo. She touched on her EP, Anu, that we discussed in one of the previous episodes. Bro, make it a point to experience Karun with a full band at least once in your life. The band was having so much fun. Tugi did a solo at the beginning of Lie to Me that's woof, ethereal. The guitars on the song is one of the reasons why Lie to Me is top tier. One of the most popular videos on Ongeza Volume on TikTok is one of them from this particular day at Geco by Karun. I love Karun's crowd engagement. She does this thing at the end of the show where she asks her fans to move closer to her and then they sing the last song of the set together. So in this case, it was Glow. And of course, the fans moved forward and they jammed so well with her. Nikisema the fans nilikuwa hapo, guys. Loud and proud. On 13th October, I was hosting Keeng at R&B Uncovered. He was playing with Don Tambo on bass guitar, I slid on lead guitar. Zawadi and Zalali were the background vocalists for Clark, and Clark was playing key. The performance started out steady, then the energy went over the roof. Honestly, ukiniuliza at what point, I can't even tell you. The audience was demanding for more and more and more. Clark sang covers and originals as well. It was an amazing performance. I enjoyed every bit of it. At some point, I'll come Mama Juya speaker. Like, bro, that was a wild night. On 16th October, Lisa Oduor Noah was performing at Ankole Grill. I had never been to Ankole Grill before, so this was like my first experience at that venue. They've been hosting a series of events all through the year, but I've never made it a point to go. So this was like, I gotta see Lisa, guys. I gotta see Lisa. I was in the pits mentally on this day. Must have been this whole period, honestly. And Lisa pulled me out. I don't know how. She probably doesn't even know. But that performance did so much for me. So much for me. The band was Jaziel on drums, Nick Kera on bass guitar, Makmula on lead guitar, and Lucas Moesh on keys. The venue you had to reserve in order to get like sitting space. Honestly, venues where I have to reserve like a table get me so nervous. Because sometimes even if you've reserved, you'll just find people have sat where you had reserved anyway. We need venues in Nairobi. Oh my gosh. We really need so many more venues for live events. Her performance was a blend of covers, her own hidden gems, fan favorite originals, and her unreleased music. She called Shitakwa to stage to perform Arcadia, which is her collaboration with Auntie. I hope I'm saying it correctly. That was released in 2017. It's such a warm song. I feel like Lisa should perform this more often. She did Malo, and boy was she flexing her vocals. She did Daylight, which is one of my favorites. Zinnia alikuwa amewasili nchini and she joined her on stage for some of their favorite covers. Later on, Zinnia's siblings akina Maali joined them on stage and they sang Happy Birthday to their mom, which was really sweet. They performed a song with an interesting count. It was so intriguing. She performed Galaxy, which was one of my top songs according to Spotify Wrapped. Jeziel was doing wonders on drums, bro. Nick Kera's solo, hey, you have to wear headphones for this. Kidogo, which is on YouTube on the In Mic page, is another song that she performed that I don't think I had ever heard live before. I was so glad she performed it. Of course, she performed Jahera, she performed Amaaje, she called Jojo onto stage, and they performed Sembo. Guess what? Okello Max was in the audience. So Lisa and Jojo have done background vocals for Okello in 2024 since he started playing with a band. So you know what happened? They called Okello to stage and they all performed together. That was really nice of Okello to, show up. Lisa and Jojo performed Chamthum. They did Jadala as well together. And that is when now we danced our asses off. I don't know how Jadala turned into some seventh sounding jam, but where we were dancing. I truly enjoyed this performance, and I honestly see how Lisa was one of my top artists in 2024. On 19th October, I was invited to Aurie's exclusive listening party for her album titled Story, S with an apostrophe, then Tori. Her manager, who's my namesake, Abigail, shout out to her. She sent really compelling invites. Like, did I have an option to say no? I didn't. Oh my god, Abby is doing such an amazing job with, the whole managing Aurie thing. And I kind of look up to her. She's an amazing human being. I hope she hears this. Anyway, got to the venue. It was a long gong road. We arrived and there were some snacks. I think by the time nilikuwa nafika, the complimentary snacks were over. But it was raining heavily that day. I remember so well. So I ordered something to eat and something to drink as we waited for Aurie, got to interact with other people. And then when Aurie moved into the room, my God, her outfit was amazing, amazing, amazing. Very few people were in attendance. So it felt so intimate and it was extremely, extremely interactive.
Wait till you get your VIPs. Huh? Yeah. Event to have the first listening party of coming album, Story. That's S-T-O-R-I. Fun fact, this album was actually supposed to be called Satori. We went back and forth with it until we said, you know what, let's do Story. And then the apostrophe represents the A, for A for Aurie. Yeah, so Story the album. And why we came down to this was because
I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Everybody shared how they got to discover Aurie, and Abby kept on engaging us in different ways where we would eventually listen to each song and then give immediate comments on how we felt about the song. Like the song plays at the end, the mic is just like tossed into the audience, and at that time the music is still fresh, and you're like, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling happy. Like there was no judgment or criticism or whatever. You could say however you would want to like express yourself. You will just say how you're feeling. And that was a really refreshing experience for me, honestly. Yes, I've been to listening parties as I had mentioned, but I feel like every listening party has something new to offer. So guys, invite me to your listening parties this year in 2025. I am fun, I promise. And I will also review it on our podcast. So, well, Aurie has now released Story the album, so you guys should go and stream it. It was quite an emotional journey. That album, hey. I'm so glad Aurie got to share it with us. On the same day, I had to rush. I think when the last song from the album was playing, it was already released. So I was just like, I need to check. Because why? Because at 7 p.m. on the dot, Elsy Wameyo was gonna start performing at Geco, same day, 19th October. Let me tell you something. You just had to be there. Honestly. Elsy Wameyo brought her tour to the KE, to the 254. And for me, I felt like this was once in a lifetime opportunity that I did not want to miss. Juu ukihata kuwa na Elsy live na alikuwa na hiyo show solo, ni wapi tena utamuona? Are you gonna travel to Australia or to the UK to go and see her? Okay, yes, amen. But in that moment, she was here at home, so we had to go there. Elsy's band comprises of Olo Sule on lead guitar, Humphrey on drums, Makmuo or Mac the bassist on bass guitar, and Ebenezer Nzuna or Ebe music on keys. The band jammed fast. Imagine what Sule was singing. Hey, what a shocker. What a shocker. And guess what genre that Sule was singing? Reggae, bro. Reggae. I was so surprised. I was going to tell Costa ati unajua kwa show ya Elsy Wameyo Sule alituimbia. And then Costa guessed like the song that Sule was singing. And I was like, okay, how did you know? And he's like, bro, it's the Fishers band. How can I not know that? And I'm like, okay, sawa, umeshinda. Elsy then stepped onto stage and somebody in the audience yelled, Anakuja, Anakuja, like in one of the songs. Her outfit, bro, yo. She was wearing a baggy black t-shirt, which is the Umva merchandise. And her jewelry was to die for. It was all over her jorts. And she was wearing cowboy boots, her nails, her rings, her makeup, her hair, everything. And guess what? She later on posted, I think weeks or days later, that she did all that by herself. Like, bro, I am so impressed. Like, her music was not enough to blow my mind. And then she comes and tells us she has all these other talents. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, Elsy is amazing. She performed from the Nilotic EP Mwanzo. She did a tiny appreciation before Lair.
And I thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I am the Nilo G. And this is the return. I want you to experience the things in the tour. Immerse yourself
And let me tell you, Ler has one of the best intros. Olo was killing it. And Ler is a really deep song, not gonna lie. The outro too was amazing. And she got to explain the story behind the song Ler.
Which means, oh, so like in the dark the light still shines. And when I wrote this album, I was in a very dark place. I'm a lover of God, and at the point I felt like he couldn't see me. But that was the song that brought me back to my Father. And it reminded me that even in my darkness and even in my sinfulness, the light still shines.
She then explained the difference between the other tour locations and home, and how you kind of feel like you belong more at home.
So a lot of the times in this intro, I speak to them about how I grew up in Australia and I struggled with being black, a black woman creating in a space that doesn't look like me, and how much I struggled. But today it's a different story. Today I feel like I'm so empowered. I feel like I'm so strong. Because as I stand here, I don't stand up here alone. I stand with you guys. And if it's anything I want to leave you guys with, it's that black is beautiful. That black is more than enough. That you are more than enough. No matter what anybody says out there, you are more than enough.
And then she performed Outcast, which she released the behind the scenes on YouTube juicy too, and it gave a lot of context to what she was telling us. She performed Saint, which was written for her by Polycarp. Fancy fingers.
This one is also very special. I'm gonna say it's a special one for all the songs. Guys, Saint said this album, let me tell you, this album really taught me and I learned so much. But this one is very, 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 very special because it was actually written for me. The chorus was written by Polycarp. Shout to him. And honestly, I always say that this chorus was the best summary of what Saint Sinner was and that journey for me. So this next one is called Saint.
She performed more from Saint Sinner and her older jams. The band was having so much fun. The audience engagement was top tier. Her stage presence, oof. The bass in Journey and the keys. Nakwambia walikuwa wamepanga hii set. The arrangement to Elsy Wameyo's music is amazing. Nakwambia tulikuwa tumengoja Pinylara. We, kwanza hii part.
It's getting closer.
It usually gives wale wase walipanda stage time ya folk fusion performance ya Collo Max na Costa during Hera, ile time yenye sound ilizimika and then the guys were left on stage. Just like wanagonga hizo drums wakirukaruka on stage with the white apparel, like bro, that is what that part gives. Akatoa shati kwa the left hand, akaiweka kwa mabega. Yo, that was so cool. When Conker was next on the set, akaitoa all together, akaitupanisha. And let me tell you, the bass sounds so good during Conker. Alisema wazungu hushindwa kuimba umva on beat. Ati Humphrey hu jam.
We've been in Europe, we've done London, we've done Switzerland, we've done all of that. But let me tell you, there's no better place like home. And one of the reasons for that is because, and I love these places, but it's really funny, right? Whenever we sing umva, they sing it off beat. And he gets very mad because he's at click, right? So I'm very excited because I know we're about to sing it correct. So we're as we
Arrangement ya umva ni ingine. Hey!
y'all feeling alive.
They transitioned from Umva to River Nile, and I almost cried at the realization. Like the minute the beat just started via River Nile. Yo! I was like, no, you guys just did not do that. They all did instrumental solos to close out the show, and that was one for the books. Let me tell you, once the show was done, I got all the merchandise I could get. Like, and I love them so much. Anybody who's seen me with a Sensina match knows how much I love it. Nilikuwa najiambia, sasa nisiponunua hii merchandise, nitaipata wapi tena? I kind of wish I got the baggy t-shirts. I should find out how to get them. Same day, hey, yo. I was on a roll this day. Oh my gosh. But I think the next day was a holiday. Oh my gosh. Ilikuwa ile day yenye 20th ilikuwa inaangukia Sunday and then Monday was a holiday. That makes sense. The Kenyan in me. Xprso were performing at the Mist on the same day, but like later on in the night. So Geco ends at 9 p.m. So see how all the way Hadi Westi at the Mist. And the things that stood out for me during Xprso at the Mist, I saw Tg.blk for the first time in flesh, and she performed her songs. Like for the first, I had never seen Tg.blk ever in person or on stage. I was so excited. Wow. I'm sure nearly fangirl at some point. Tg.blk is currently the second most streamed artist on Spotify in Kenya. Like, you have to recognize there were some really dope DJ sets. So when it was time for Xprso to come onto stage to perform, the energy was so high, and they were performing with Yalisen. First of all, before Xprso came onto stage, Yalisen had a DJ set, and he performed some of his works. I love it so much when DJs or producers or DJ and producers play their works when they're doing a DJ set. So Yalisen was MDing for them, and he was also was there keys? I'm not too sure if keys were there, but yeah, yeye ndo alikuwa na control tracks and everything. Xprso performed a lot of unreleased music. And you know what? They also have a remix, yeah, national anthem, where it's like Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And I'm just like, yo, you guys should release this banger. On 20th October, I was hosting Gaduru Gitema at R&B Uncovered. He's a dope singer-songwriter. I can't wait to see him blow. Honestly, he's so talented.
Kweli nilikupenda, nikawambia wengi sitawahi kutenga, but lately unajipenda, naona huelewi unanitesa.
We were all going to the Imposter Syndrome No More album launch that was happening at Alchemist by Costa Ojwang. This was one of the events we as Ongeza Volume marketed in 2024. So this year, if you're trying to get your event marketed, promoted, and definitely to increase your ticket sales, feel free to reach out to us. We'll definitely come through. Collaborate with us, guys, this year. Msiogope. Once again, thank you for always attending events that we plug you as the Ongeza Volume family. I don't take it for granted. So once we arrived at the entrance, there was a pull-up banner that was giving more insight on the details of the project, that is Imposter Syndrome No More, the album. The MC that was hosting the event was Hype Ballo, and DJ Nick was the one who was on the decks. He was playing before and in between the sets. I arrived just before Coco Seso got onto stage. She looked amazing. She used to be Costa's background vocalist, but she decided to go independent and focus on her own career. As always, her performance was captivating. She even played percussions during her set. I went back to Beer District and then came back to Alchemist later on. And I came on time because I found Costa on stage finally. Let me tell you, Costa's outfit and hat. He was playing with the Fishers band. Shortly after, he started performing Mora na Yoya Tajiri alipanda stage. Patia Godha on Mora, Fisherman alisema tupande stage, and that is exactly what we did. I'm sure you all were surprised to see me on stage, man. Nilikuwa nimengoja hiyo ngoma, nikangoja tu queue hivi. Hey, one lege, one lege. We had so much fun on stage. Nyachula of the Imposter Syndrome No More album is a fan favorite. The lights and the screen visuals were top tier for this song. The album was so young, lakini watu walikuwa wanaimba, kuimba, wewe. Na feel kama Nyachula is a sister song to Oguyo Guyo from Fweny, the album. A lot of people have actually told me the same thing. Ero Shakapanda stage for Haye, which is one of their collaborations. You guys, Sero was ambushed. Akapanda stage to perform Nyakachieng, which was my first love, my first favorite song from Costa Ojwang. Let me tell you, Sero and Costa's chemistry on stage is unbeatable. Farm. Nilikuwa hata nimeongelelea during orchestra. Nakwambia, napenda vile walibadilisha intro ya Hera. The collaboration with Okello Max. Squeezy ni doba flani ya reggae. The intro has a reggae vibe. So when I heard it for the first time, I was like, what? But I've heard it like several times after that, and I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, so they actually changed intro ya Hera. Okello Max had a show on the same day in Kisumu, so he couldn't make it to perform. I know that kind of disappointed some people. He performed Oguyo Guyo. There was a break in between the two sets. Nick, the DJ, played during that set, obviously with Balo hyping around. When Costa came back, alikuwa na outfit change, and definitely the break was necessary. He performed Tingamalo with a horn. Of course, he has to blow that horn, and the drums were so heavy. Umoja came onto stage as well. Let me tell you, Tingamalo, it's a very spiritually rising song. Like you can't just stand by when the song is being performed. Magunga and some other guys wakapanda stage kudance pamoja na Umoja na Costa. Umoja gave Kokokoseso the microphone and she delivered. Let me tell you, the ululations were ululating. Where? And do you guys know there's a remix version that Blinky alipanda stage during, was it the first edition of Fisherman Season? I'm calling it Fisherman Season because that is the name of the playlist. But it was Fish Market. The first, you remember the first edition? I remember Blinky came onto stage when now it was the first time Sero was coming back to stage after her hiatus. Yo, that is the one I'm talking about. When Blinky came onto stage and they first performed the remix of Tingamalo. These guys have never released that remix. Can you guys release that remix? So the remix of Tingamalo is definitely Costa Umoja and now features Blinky Bill. So now back to this event. They both performed Blinky Bill's verse for the Tingamalo remix. Kuna this new back dance yenye yenye Costa has been doing, ni kama hiyo ndio iko fashion sasa. Si niliwaambia hawa watu wanajifunza kudance, wamekuwa madanza. Costa performed 60 years and then Wabiro. For both, Ricky Sachs joined them on stage. They then performed Jathum na Savara alipanda stage. When Savara was finding his way to stage, Costa alisema Uncle Riz alikuwa anatamani stage sana. Anyway, Savara kapanda stage. Manze alikuwa anashindwa kutamka maneno, alikuwa na those grills zenye wasanii wameanza kuvaa. And also, one thing that was so disappointing was hakuwa anakumbuka the lyrics. Oh my days. Like, it's okay to forget like one or two lines, but Costa was singing most of Savara's lines. Na feel kama ukijieka kwa shoes za msanii, imagine you calling your collaborative artist and then haji the lyrics. Like, how would you feel, you know? So me, I was just like, I feel like he would have understood like the intensity of the album launch and kind of tried to, at least get half of the lyrics. Because, I mean, anyway, what do I know? That was a bit disappointing. Coco Koseso joined Costa on stage during Delila, and the energy was insane on stage. Mordecai Dex came onto stage for Purpose. This is one of the best songs of the album. And unlike some other people, Dex could remember all his lyrics. You see what I'm getting to? Yeah, like one thing I loved about the performance of this song Purpose, the song itself, it's about finding our purpose in life and all that stuff. And Costa being a visual artist, he definitely hung his pieces on both sides of the stage, on the left side and on the right side. And guess what? During this song, Mutoriah spotlighted. Mutoriah is the Momalites technician wetu wa Malites za events. Alice's spotlight mostly through the song, and that was so thoughtful because, like, you could see both parts of Costa being, a singer, songwriter, performer, and also now a visual artist, like an all-rounded artist. And hopefully, we all get to find our purpose. Honestly. Costa performed Ole Mona, and in this song, he says, "We have really come a long way," and it's so true. We really have. And it was supposed to be the last song on the set. And Costa ended the show at exactly midnight. It made me so happy. Like by now, you guys know that when shows end before midnight or at midnight, it makes me happy because it means I'm gonna get enough sleep and go about my day the next day. Honestly, I really enjoyed Costa's album launch. Nani Mona ametoa kalenda ya 2025 that is also including his visual art, and I honestly cannot wait to attend everything that he has planned for us. On 25th October, Collo, the famous Collo, King Warap, he had his live listening party. Now, a small story about this event. Collo approached me to assist him with his campaign, hashtag DEP is back. And at first I was so shocked, like it was unreal. And I was in the back of my mind, I was like, oh my god, my brother would be so happy right now. But at funny thing, at first I didn't know that it was the Kolu. I just thought, when artists reach out and you wanna collaborate with them, and I was just like game without even knowing like who this was exactly. And then like later on, days later is when I realized, wait a minute. It just hits me like in the middle of one of the meetings. I'm just like, wait. This is the actual Kolo. Oh my god. It was an interesting discovery. But yeah. So I was hosting his exclusive listening party, which got me a bit anxious but also excited. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. Another thing, get me to host your listening parties, guys. And your events. I won't stop plugging myself. So basically, we had a week to execute his vision, and it scared the living shit out of me, honestly. But anyway, you guys, that ended up being one of the most successful events in 2024 that I was part of. And it was once in a lifetime experience for me, honestly, because in the audience, I was hosting the greats. I was hosting people we grew up listening to and engaging them. And it was so surreal. It was one of the days that I will actually never forget, honestly. I know I haven't spoken about it too much, but I have this tendency of just downplaying a lot of things. But yeah, this was a really big moment for me and for Ongezo Volume. Thank you to everyone I invited to the listening party. It was exclusive, so I couldn't really announce it beforehand because those were the instructions that were given. But I was given like a couple of slots for media, and I got to invite some Aurie from the 30% podcast and African Kodo from Sana Kosana. So thank you guys for honoring my invite to the event, and to Collo for believing in me and believing in Ongeza Volume. We did a recap video that is up on Instagram and all other platforms. So you guys should go check it out and have, a glimpse of how Collo's listening party went. On 25th October, Mutoriah was performing at Baobox. Something that I noticed about Mutoriah in 2024, he separated three aspects of his artistry, which is Mutoriah performing as the MD, Mutoriah performing as the producer, and Mutoriah performing as the artist. So that day at Baobox, he was performing as the producer. It was the same day. So after we left Collo's listening party, we went to Baobox and we found he was performing together with Provoke from Umoja Sounds, and they were making songs at the venue. And Mutoriah walked up to me and he asked me for a lyric, and then he walked up to Maureen of Elani and asked her to sing the lyrics that I had given, and we actually did make a song out of that.
The first person will give us an idea of what they feel about the song. Then the next person will sing something about what the previous person has said. Okay?
It makes me feel mellow.
Give me one line that expresses mellow. Just words.
I am feeling good tonight. I am feeling good.
I'm feeling good tonight is the line. Nice. Okay. Nani anataka kuimba? So we have the line, we have the words. Now the song is giving us mellow vibes. The line is, I am feeling good tonight. So now we need a melody. Just a random melody. Okay.
I am feeling good tonight.
One, two, three, let's go.
I am feeling good tonight.
Nice.
That is actually a very interesting concept that Mutoriah came up with, and it's very engaging and exciting. What I'm looking forward to see is if he's going to actually work on these songs and maybe release them in the near future. That would be really dope. Itabidi ameni credit. Thanks. Najua atasikiza. Oh my gosh. On 29th October at KNT, we went for Billy Black live experience. I definitely arrived on time. So when the show started, the band started playing alone. The band comprised of Modest Shabari on keys, Victor Tugi on bass guitar, Filippo Dupa on drums, and Ice Lead on lead guitar. And at some point in the gig, Billy joked and said, I don't know, the name of the band is gonna be maybe Billy and the Waiters. So Billy comes onto stage and then he starts with Soul Heavy and Nihirumie, and he was like, man, the government has forced me to start my set with Maandamano songs instead of love songs. And then people shouted Ruto must go. That is constant at every event right now because that nigga has to go, guys. Yeah. The sound felt weird at first, but I kind of assumed that it's because I was at the extreme front. So we were just like, let's chill and observe. And I think the sound got better with time. I think they were probably having some technical challenges, kidogo tu uko nyuma, but they continued fixing it with time. Islid was wearing two guitars. He was playing one and then the other one was like on his back. And then he would alternate depending on the track. Like, what madness is that? Billy Black thanked us for attending his gig on a Tuesday with work tomorrow. Yo, preach. He performed tracks from his EP Soul Heavy. He performed Hold Me, which Islid's solo blew me away. The audience interactions during Hold Me. He performed To Love Again and more of the songs from Billy Black, the project. He performed Something Is You and Tugi's bass as the intro. I love this song so much. Enyewe single people tuliumia sana 2024. Ambia was then mashed up with Something Is You. Bro, let me tell you, we love audiences that sing along like a choir. Like that means revision was done very well. Billy said he was fortunate enough to know and work and write for several superstars. And immediately he said that, I was like, that's definitely Uncle Reese. So he started performing Let You Know, which I told you guys, fun fact, Billy Black is the one that wrote that song. So he started singing and then he started saying how Charisma was not there, which was a lie. And I was so glad when Charisma appeared during verse 2. He first started singing before appearing and then he appeared physically. People went wild. And the first thing I noticed was, hey, damn, amepona mkono finally. I first thought it was the tracks and then he appeared. And then niko like, yani Billy ametudanganya. Ndio watu surprise na Charisma. Wow. Wow.
Sent from heaven just to give a broken heart every single time you fall away, my heart forgets just how to be. Maybe I should let you know. Every single night I ask the Lord to keep you safe. The moonlight in the dark.
Anyway, after that, the band left stage and Billy Black picked up the acoustic guitar, which was a brilliant idea, like as an interlude for the show, like a break. I was just worried for him because he didn't take a break, but I was like, maybe he can hack this. He performed a lot of his music that was acoustic. Of course, most of his music is acoustic, but I love how they managed to arrange it with a full band. But there are some exceptions, which he performed now with the acoustic guitar. Guess who he called onto stage? He called Njoki Karu. Hey, ile nduru yenye nilipiga wewe. Njoki Karu came onto stage and he said that she exudes beauty in every way, and I agree. They performed their award-winning film score that's called I'll Be Your Friend. I love this song so much. It blends so well and the music video is so priceless.
You came first to chase the loneliness away. Oh, you built the house and fill it up. Happy ever after is all we're looking for. Oh, until the time is over, I will love you even more. I'll be your friend. I'll hold your hand through the darkness. I'll give you love when love is gone.
We already talked about Njoki Karu's works in the previous episode. So kama hujasikiza the previous episode, kimbia uende usikize some priceless information about Njoki Karu over there. Billy Black did an old track. I thought it was unreleased, but I posted it on Instagram stories when we were doing the recap. Of course, mlinilazimisha nifanye recap ya hii mapema. Billy Black interacted with the audience and he asked them what song he should give the writing story, like inspo ya wimbo gani aseme hiyo story. And he performed Best in Me, which is a gospel song. He performed March On and asked the crowd to sing along.
Soldier, hold on. Oh, Jesus, hold
one thing I loved about this audience, it was perfect. When silence was needed, it was pin drop silence. And you could even hear Billy Black breathing. So later on, the band comes back onto stage and they blow our minds with Champion. He said he looked forward to performing that particular song. Yo, kijana kutoka Migori, and the audience was singing along so well. Eslid and Tugi did some solos and they were playing each other's guitars at some point. These people like having too much fun on stage. It's crazy. They came to the front and they knelt down as they shredded their guitars facing each other. He performed Superhuman, that is another favorite of mine. It had a really powerful intro, and Odupa on drums was doing the most. He performed Will Be Okay, and the arrangement was so groovy. Sawa was then performed, and I had never heard the intro like that. You know, Mutoriah performs this song on his set, so definitely the band being different meant that the arrangement might have been different. So that's why the intro felt a bit new. Billy started alone and he sang peke yake, and then after a while during the second verse, Mutoriah joined him onto stage. I also realized that a lot of Billy Black's music is quite reassuring, like telling us we're gonna be okay, tutakuwa sawa. And I didn't know this then, but I'm going a bit ahead of myself for a minute for the context of this particular song. In episode 19, when I will be talking about events that happened in December, I will talk about how this was such an interesting find. So during that event in December, I'm sorry guys, but I just have to mention it. It's related, I promise. Mutoriah told us during closing day that back in the day, Billy Black used to be the shit on SoundCloud. You know, he was doing massive things on there. And bruh, I had to go and confirm for myself. Because I used to have SoundCloud, but like I just stopped having it after a couple of years. So Billy Black uploaded a version of Sawa onto SoundCloud. It's a totally different version. I know there's some people who know this information, but I feel like there's a lot more people who don't know this information like me. So I want to share it with you guys. So there's a version of Sour on SoundCloud.
Hold on tight, don't let it go. When you're broken on the floor, do what's spoken, I'll be there just to show you that I can.
And apparently Mutoriah came across it and it intrigued him. And you know what they did? They decided to create a whole new song from that version. And the last part of the original song by Billy Black is the part where they've derived from that song and now put it into the collaboration between Mutoriah and Billy Black. Like, that was such an intriguing fact. Honestly, my mind blew. Anyway, let's proceed with Billy Black live. He performed Ukweli. There was one particular part I was waiting for. Bass girls. Bass girls. Yeah? Hey. So this is how the song sounds, the studio version.
Sina ya kusema, maneno yote mimi nishasema. Sasa toka zako, sasa nenda kwingine.
And then this is how it sounded on stage. Nakwambia Billy Black akisema Tugi weka ngoma tucheze. Hey. We were dying. Billy Black then performed I See the Light and he started performing alone and then Costa Ojwang joined him. This is now like a Billy Black trend. Like you don't know if the collaborator is going to join him on stage. Like you have to wait till the second verse. Costa Ojwang joined him and how they harmonized the Luo part. Yo. I feel like this event was a lot for me because it was the first time I was actually experiencing Billy Black fully live with a full band. And I'm sure that was the same experience for a lot of us in the room. He performed Songa Mbele. He then did a vote of thanks and took a photo with the band and the audience. Ile yenye wase wanapenduka to the other side alafu wanapigwa picha pamoja na audience like that. But I kind of felt sad because I was like, oh my god, kwani gig isha. Kumbe walikuwa tu wanataka tu picha waendelee na the last bit of the gig, which was a good thing. Because a lot of the times when the event is almost over, people wanakuanga wametoka. So that was brilliant. We chanted Mama Billy as he recorded it for her. And oh my god, she received the message and she was so happy. Yo, you guys, we are huge fans of Mama Billy. He started a series where he makes content with the mom and we love every bit of it. Billy Black asked us to go to stage. And you know what? Trust your girl to go. And every time he would see like a familiar face, he would like go and hug them and be like, oh my god, thank you for coming. It's a bit like literally the band is playing. It's probably the last song that he's gonna perform. But all his like co-fans wamekuja wamepanda stage. Like he made it such he gave the event a personal touch in such a way that he didn't seem unreachable. He literally asked us to come onto stage and after the show he interacted with all his fans. So that was a really good thing from Billy Black. He performed Sinner's Anthem to close the show. A lot more people joined us on stage before he started to perform and we all sang along with him. Those were some really beautiful scenes. Tulikuwa tumeshikana wote mikono and we are singing and the crowd is also on their feet and they're also singing. Oh my god, that was such a magical moment. It was such an exhilarating experience. On 31st October, Ojwang was performing at Geco. We were from the Imposter Syndrome Normal album launch just the other day, so the experience was still fresh in mind. It wasn't my first choice to attend the Geco gig because I knew watu walikuwa wamejaa, and for real watu walikuwa wamejaa sana. But I was supposed to go to Sofiya Nzau's Meta watch party same day. So I arrived a bit early because of a bit of miscommunication. Then I was told it's gonna be like way later on. So we decided, let's go and see Costa at Geco and then go back to the watch party later on in the night. So I was so glad that Costa was doing all these venue tours for the album because a lot more people got to experience his new music live. I also saw that somewhere within that time frame, he had Ankole that was scheduled. So that was a good thing for him in that time. We then headed to Sofiya Nzau's Meta watch party. Meta is one of the songs that Sofiya Nzau released last year. The event was happening at the location. I'm really grateful for this invite, by the way. It was last minute, but I was like, hell yeah! So once we arrived, there was a section reserved for the invited guests where we were directed to because the venue was still taking in other guests to the other side of the venue. The deco and the atmosphere was really nice, and this event was happening at the 13th floor of that building, and it was so good because we got to see fireworks za Diwali. There were cards on the table with QR codes for the music video that was about to premiere. The attendees were influencers, artists, dancers, DJs, and social media personalities. For those who don't know Sofiya Nzau, this is hilarious saying it because she's now one of the biggest artists in the world. She's an African storyteller from Murang'a, Kenya, and who mostly does it in Kikuyu. She recently went viral for Mwaki, and she's now the most streamed artist in East Africa. Yes, we actually did check. And at this time that I was writing this, this was in November when I was writing this review. She had 6.9 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Just out of curiosity, let me check right now. In January 2025, how many listeners does monthly listeners does Sofiya Nzau have? There was a conversation about this on Twitter, about also Barbara Wangoi and Sofiya Nzau and Tg.blk having been the most streamed artists in Kenya at the moment. She has 7.4 million monthly listeners. It's actually interesting. Just for context, let's check Barbara Wangoi's at the moment. Barbara Wangoi has 855.4k monthly listeners, and Tg.blk has, tumongelelea Tg.blk kwa hii episode by the way, nikiwaambia vile nilikuwa excited kumsikia akiperform. She has 775,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. That was just a by the way. So Sofiya Nzau featured on the most recent release titled Meta with Nonsibo Zikode from South Africa and Fireboy DML from Nigeria. The video was premiering, and we had the privilege to be invited to the worldwide premiere alongside Sofiya herself. She arrived and she interacted with the guests. The DJ was playing Afrobeats. Like, it was so odd because this is a KE artist premiere. Like, we are here for Sofiya Nzau. She's Kenyan. Why are you playing Afrobeat? Like, I do understand it's an international affair and everything, but I mean, we are at home. Why don't we listen to music from home? You know, I don't know tutaimba historia play KE hadi lini, but we will not back down. That DJ should have been playing Kenyan music, considering the fact that we were at a Kenyan artist premiere. The countdown to the video premiere began, and once it was time, the video got projected to the screens that were available. When her verse came on, we shouted, way. She looks so fabulous on the music video. I love how she remains true to her style. Like, there was a style that she had even before she went viral, and she still maintains it. I feel like she remains true to herself. The video was played over and over and over as she interacted with the guests, which is us. And then people left at their own pleasure afterward. At least we got to get a chat with Sofiya Nzau, and hopefully when we start hosting artists on the podcast, we're gonna have Sofiya Nzau on board. So if you have any questions that you would wanna pop to Sofiya, feel free to share them. Now, into the projects that were released in October 2024, we have I Am Kim by Kim Life. We have My Lover's Rock by For Mr. Frank White. We have Imposter Syndrome No More by Costa Ojwang. We have A Man of Nyadi by Brian Sigo. We have Colors EP by Kagwe Mungai and Dumba EP by Baraza. So you guys can go and listen to those releases from October 2024. And I guess I'll see you guys in episode 18 covering events that happened in November 2024. Toodles!
Tutakuwa sawa, tukiwa pamoja.